Ready to debate this? We have two segments. Stay with us. Joining us now on stage, NRA spokesperson Dana Loesch, who was there last night. Fox News contributor Katie Pavlich, Fox News correspondent at large Geraldo Rivera. Thank you. Appreciate it. Good job. Nice to see you. And Dan Bongino.
What's up, bro? Good to see you, man. Hey, homie.
Grab a seat. Grab a seat.
Got your water. Got this.
This is great.
Wow.
First, I want to say I obviously didn't watch because they're on at the same time, but I watched later. And number one, you did a phenomenal job under the most difficult circumstances. I got to give you. Bring us behind the scenes. You were called a murderer. Burn her? What else?
Yeah, well, let me set the stage for you. And first off, I want to say that it's hard to be a teenager. It's hard being a grieving teenager. And it's hard being a grieving teenager who's being exploited by a media and made to grieve or asked to grieve publicly on a national stage. This was an arena full of survivors, victims' parents, and other community members. There were over 7,000 people that were in this arena, Sean. Mm-hmm. And when we entered, you kind of entered like you were Floyd Mayweather going into the ring. I mean, literally, like you came in from part of the arena and you walked through between all these people and you got up on stage. It was pretty chaotic. It started even before I got up on stage to talk. And the whole reason why I showed up there is because the NRA is made of over 5 million members who are also parents.
I'm one.
You're one of them, and you're a parent. Mm-hmm. And we didn't do anything wrong.
Right.
We weren't the ones. I mean, why is it that we're held responsible when here, just as you mentioned, just today we learned that the sheriff's office, here you had a deputy who waited upwards of 4 minutes before they went in. And, Sean, we also found out, it was reported this morning, that the parents had reported this murderer to police before. There's a report out there, the records have been discussed in media, where they told police he has threatened people with a gun before. He has held a gun to others' heads. Now, I'm not a member of the FBI. I'm not a member of law enforcement. I love what they do. I appreciate what they do.
You're not doing this because you're being paid either. You do.
I've been a Second Amendment supporter and an NRA lifetime member for a long time. That was a cheap shot. That was a cheap shot by the sheriff because he's trying to cover his backside.
Point of view, that's fine, but what he did was wrong.
It was wrong, and he has questions to answer.
All right, let me ask you one quick question because we have you for two segments, which is great. What other names were you called while you were on that stage?
I was called a "See you next Tuesday." They said burn her, murderer. I heard a lot of murders, and then they tried to. Cersei Lannister chanted me shame as I walked out. And I did not. I looked at every single person.
So they wanted Jerry Springer last night.
Yeah, it was, and that's what I mean. Honestly,
that's why we have Geraldo.
Yeah, I mean, CNN should have let their
the original Jerry Springer.
They should have. No chairs were thrown. No chairs were thrown. But that's when CNN should have let their cameras go because that was the money shot that they wanted. I'm sure, right? But people try to rush the stage. There was a woman who rushed the stage.
That's scary. And
at one point, Jake Tapper turned and looked at me and said, "Do you have an escort? You need to get out of here right now. You have got to get out of here right now." And if I did not have a 3-person detail with me, I would not have gotten out of the arena.
That's scary.
And that is not an exaggeration.
In all fairness, Geraldo, he's one of my best friends in life. I love him. I disagree. We disagree on some things. You believe in the Second Amendment. I do. You agree with what I outlined for security measures.
I absolutely agree with it. But Dana said, it is hard being a teenager. I'm the father of 5. 4 of them have passed through the teenage years. It is hard being a teenager. So why in the world does the NRA resist raising the age for the purchase of these deadly weapons from 18 to 21, as the president now advocates?
Well,
this simple change, I want the NRA to embrace this change. I want the NRA. Here's a kid who was visited 39 times by the cops. Here's a kid, they wouldn't let him carry a knapsack into the school.
They banned
and yet this kid could buy an AR-15 legally?
Right, hey,
please,
I'll tell you what we're going to do. I will say this. If there were so many signs, it is embarrassing they didn't get this kid earlier.
He can't buy a beer, Sean.
But we'll come back.